they had elections, okay, ticked off Beijing. What ticked off Beijing maybe even more was that some countries like the Philippines and others congratulated Taiwan on their successful election. We know that China is angry. We know that China is wounded. And to me, sort of that makes them potentially.
In recent days, the government of the Philippines congratulated the Taiwanese new government or re-elected government on the election and a resounding success. Did I say excess? But China gets mad with this because way back in 1975, the Philippine government recognizes the government of the People's Republic of China. The sole legal government of China fully understands the respects the position of the Chinese government. There is only one China, and Taiwan is an integral part of the Chinese territory. Quote from 1975. This is the thing. This is 1975. Now, what's the year now? 2024, I do believe. Who was this signed by? It was signed by the dictator, the father of the actual Philippine president now, Marcos. Now, you may know him for being, well, let's have a look. What does it say? This is just a snapshot from screenshot. Politician, lawyer, dictator, and just basically a horrible guy. If you go to the Philippines and you speak about this guy, people speak bad of him because he was just an awful person. And we go to the the South China Sea, and China says this large area between the Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Vietnam, and China is theirs. And this is what I don't get, because you have like every country internationally say 12 miles or 12 nautical miles is part of the country. Out of that, it's the international waters. So I don't understand why people or the Chinese government complain saying this is theirs. And way back, I think it was in 2016, I'm doing this sort of like ad lib, that way back in 2016, they started putting these man-made islands in the South China Sea and putting military bases in there and denying that it's for military purposes. Then what's the point of putting an island there? Because China doesn't have any military power in the South China Sea. It's all America, United Nations, whatever, from Japan to Philippines to Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore. The American Army is, or the American Navy is allowed to, so like say, stay there, so to speak. And some rumors that the American military is in Taiwan, the island of Taiwan itself, or should I say the country. So this is why China is mad. And you could also say maybe a bit scared, but this is China bullying people again. Come to us. Now, regardless of this policy from the Philippines way back in 1975 and also in America from 1979, this is the thing. Way back in 1971, 72, that kind of era, Taiwan was recognized as a country from the United Nations, and that was sort of like it. The People's Republic of China didn't have the best reputation in the world. It was led by Mao Zedong, the mad dictator. Then in 1979, Mao was dead. There was a new president in there, and they opened up the Chinese borders to international trade. The same time that they said America, England, France, Germany all said, there is one China, and that is the People's Republic of China, and Taiwan is under that. Why did they say it? Come on. Yeah, it's too much of a coincidence to actually say, well, it's all to do about business, it's all to do about money, basically. That can I say, I'm going to use a CCP shill kind of saying, the politics of it all is all related to that. Yes, okay, we'll just say China has the China policy, etc., and then just leave it at that. It's sort of like totally wrong. And Taiwan wasn't doing very well, but Beijing opened its door, thought of trade, and you could say for quite a long time, up to even like 2012, everything was dandy. There was a standoff, a status quo between China and Taiwan. But it's only since this muppet, this real evil dictator, I'm sorry, but there's no other word to put it, Xi Jinping, he changed everything upside down and bringing it back to the Mao era. Now, presidents or dictators or in China, whatever you like to call them, or general secretary is the right term, have two terms they can have, like in America. But it was him, Xi Jinping, who near enough said, well, I want to be ruler again. Basically, if he wasn't a ruler, he would be in great difficulty related to, well, possibly his life. And if there was another president, well, basically, he would possibly say, off you go to jail, young man. But this is the whole confusing issue with it. Now, I always like to say, what do you think? Do you agree? Is it too much of a coincidence that in 1979 this treaty was sort of signed, or this piece of paper was signed, that there was only one China? And the same year, yes, the same year, the China opened its borders. I think it's like this, that you can do trade with us, but you have to sign a declaration that there is only one China, including Taiwan. And it was sort of like China's bullying with all that situation. Now, if we go to the South China Sea, for example, and we have the South China Sea confrontations, again, it's China bullying. These people are fishing in Philippine waters and international waters, and China fishes in Chinese waters and international waters. The whole story of that is another sort of kind of question with that. So when the Philippines actually use these water cannons against the cargo ships or something to do with the Philippines is awful. Now, I know that some of my viewers do come or have been in the Navy before. I've been a merchant seaman before on cruise ships, and we've had training. Yeah, on cruise ships, we've had training as crew and officers related to how to handle a water cannon, high street jets, which every ship has. A merchant ship would have. Two, mainly we got trained because you went through the Suez Canal and then you went to the Gulf area just below, and then if there was a attack on the ship, at least we knew how to basically use the water cannon. And they're very, very powerful things, incredibly powerful. And there was one guy on YouTube said only water cannons. Come on. Yeah, sorry, but this guy is basically, I will show a picture of him at the end because it's quite funny. Basically, he just really is I want to say idiot, but that's being impolite, so I'm just going to say muppet with that. So what are your thoughts with this? What is the solution for the South China Sea, Taiwan? I did mention before, and I do think this is a great idea. It's the start of a great idea, the Commonwealth of China. Two countries, two systems, one Commonwealth. You could say before, like the Commonwealth of the United Kingdom, example. But people don't trust China. And why don't they trust China? Well, the first thing is they say they're not going to do it, then they do it. Again, we talk about the military, the Chinese military bases in the South China Sea. And the international court said, no, these are not allowed. China said, oh, we reject the international court. They don't know what they're saying. And they continued to do it. But here's the thing. There was no retaliation. There's no comeback after that situation, which is sort of like quite annoying that it just like stalled. It died a death related to that. Hong Kong is the other one. 1984, the Prime Minister of England, Margaret Thatcher, and the President of China signed a declaration. It was like one country, two systems. And it all sort of worked perfectly, and people in Hong Kong were happy. I know, I've been to Hong Kong a million times. I even work for Hong Kong companies. But ever since 2012, 2013, again, when Xi Jinping took over, he basically said, introduce the national security law. Everything was working fine in Hong Kong before. And then people were scared of this, that the owner, Mr. Jimmy of Apple News, was who always fought for democracy, got arrested and possibly spending the rest of his life in prison related to that. So this is why people don't trust China, because they say one thing and do another thing. You should know the story by now, if that makes sense. So I think it's time for a little bit of a break. Now, this guy that I got this information from, he is a guy from Colombia, and he looks like this. But who does he remind you of? Well, let's take a break and I'll show you the picture of who I think he reminds you of. Now, that's enough about Taiwan and the South China Sea and the Philippines and the etc. The history we're related. Something is sort of like missing from it. And I'm going to go with the West, I'm afraid, with this one, because I just don't believe what China says. I'm going to rephrase that. The people, fine, excellent, great. The same as you and I, want money, want a house, want a car, want a great life. The government is just corrupt. Look at 2016, and Xi Jinping got caught with the Panama Papers. So how can you trust this kind of guy? Okay, granted, the argument back would be, oh, look at David Cameron, who was the Prime Minister at the time, and he got caught with the Panama Papers. But I'm going off topic with this one. We go to a different province in China, or a different place in China called Xinjiang. This is in the northwest of the country, and they've been talking quite a lot over years and years now about the Uyghur genocide, that Uyghur kind of problem. And the Chinese government do say, come to Xinjiang, come and visit, it's a beautiful place. And they show videos like this. I know I have covered this before, but there are some journalists who have been off the beaten track, because where they invite people to go to, are very nice tourist attractions and make money, etc. Business runs. I even think Tesla is there as well, building the Tesla cars for the Chinese, or you could even say the Asian market. But when these journalists go not or off the beaten track, this is what happens.
Questioned and followed. When we get out to film,
we are entitled to film in public anywhere in China.
China says these places are simply about creating jobs. But everywhere we go,
there's this extraordinary effort to stop us documenting any of it.
Want us to film, but what we believe is that that's a camp right there. This is as close as we're able to get. And right over there, we believe are family members, presumably, who could have family members inside that camp, and they're waiting to see them.
China says it has nothing to hide here, but not only do they obstruct attempts to film or go inside the camps, they also prevent us from speaking to those who know anything about them. We tried to talk to this man who just brought food to his brother, who he says is being held in the camp, but before we could ask about life inside, plainclothes security surrounded us and told the man to be quiet. There are camps like these all across Xinjiang. Nearly 1,000 miles away, we took a train to the city of Turpan to see another. Same type of prison-like walls, same kind of secrecy, and the minute after we arrive, same kind of police harassment.
Ma'am, can you tell me what that is? Is this something that you don't want us to see?
Why you're here? You tell me, why you're here? Why you're here?
We're here to film what we believe is a camp for Uyghurs, and for Kazakhs, and for Kyrgyz, and for all ethnic Muslim minorities.
Who told you that?
She threatened to arrest us and demanded we delete our footage, so we had to leave.
Can you see, it feels like they're hiding something. Don't go here. You're not allowed to go here. This is a restricted area. When the actual press core of China run by the state say, you can go anywhere in Xinjiang, there's no genocide, come here to see. But so these investigative journalists, like the Telegraph, like ABC, like a lot of them, did go off the beaten track and find these places, but they are scurried away to, you can't film here, basically. So you can see, once again, China the bully is possibly lying. And the thing is, we will near enough never know, because they have become experts of this. Now, please don't get me wrong. I just don't like Xi Jinping. I think everything was fine before him. People were happy. Foreigners were happy. The Chinese were happy. It was progressing. It was great. Even when I was there in '94, there was a sense of freedom. There was a sense of happiness. There's certain things you couldn't talk about. You just let it lie. But there wasn't the internet at those days. And before 2012, before Xi, they sort of like foreigners who lived there, people who worked there, Chinese people, were happy with this. And it was sort of, they did have you could say, freedom. But Xi took over in 2012, 2013, and he just wanted to be, it's like his own personal goal, that he wanted to be the man, and his legacy is make China great again without foreigners, for example. I don't know the whole kind of thing, but you know what I'm saying. But at the moment, his legacy is, well, he's the CCP, he's the leader of the CCP, he takes responsibility of the people and the government, and COVID-19. It's sort of a legacy that he doesn't want. But hey, when you're dead, you're dead. You can't really change the past related to that. So you can get my drift. The Chinese people, they're fine. You could say they are relatively happy, but they were happier before Xi. And they could feel that their country was progressing, it was getting better and better. What Xi has done is a typical dictator. Give the people just enough to be happy. So, stable job, some kind of okay hospital treatment. You can have your own house, but for 70 years. You can have your own car. You can travel. You do have a passport to go to different countries. And he's granted a little bit more access. Foreigners, now you can come to China for 5 days without a visa. So these are tiny bits, just enough to make, well, it's okay, my life is all right, don't worry about it, you know what I'm saying? And then, but before was a lot better. And this is the experiences that I had working in China, working for big corporations. And luckily I sort of retired, it was in 2012, September 2012 with that. And my friends there, now I can't mention my friends obviously because they are in Shanghai. When we do go out, let's say for a drink or at home, I haven't been to Shanghai for years, but we do communicate in encrypted messaging services like Telegram, where they can't be interpreted. They can actually say, oh my God, what's the dickhead done again? When they refer to dickhead, this means Winnie the Pooh. It means the dictator of China. I'm going to leave it there for today, otherwise I'll start to use some more bad words. And the next time you see me like this, we'll be back at home in Siem Reap, Cambodia. God bless to all. Please do like, please do subscribe, please do share. And don't forget, Super Chat will really help for the cat's food. Let's leave it there for today. Bye-bye for now. God bless to all. Cheers.